Okay, guys, I hope that was helpful. I hope it was a catalyst to you maybe thinking outside the box for your Mary Kay business. Because what I have found is that when I signed my agreement 37 years ago, I had a job. I had seen layoffs of white collar workers while I was in college and saw my uncle be a VP of an international bank, and his family crumbled. I mean, what that did with him mentally, and then with his family was ugly. And so I had seen that God's going to let you see things and he's going to prepare you for what he has for you. So when your Mary Kay came into your life, maybe you weren't thinking that, oh, this is what I could do to boost retirement. This is what I could do to get out of student loan debt that I still have after a decade or two. This is what I could do to, spend more time with my aging parents. This is what I could do to get my husband out of a job that's making him angry and decreasing the amount of time that he possibly lives. This is what I could do. Like, the list goes on and on. Sometimes Sonia, she was talking about the dreams that we had as little girls. And so often as we grow up, we put dreams away and we get realistic. And I am finding at this season of my life in my 60s, I have 48 months until I will be in a Emeriti with Mary Kay, that I can look back and see that all the dreams that I had as a little girl, God has given me Mary Kay as a vehicle to make those dreams come true. I was always hung out with girls more than boys. I was like the encourager of people and lots of different people. I was in every single group and felt comfortable in every single group in high school and in college. I guess comfortable because uncomfortable that I never felt like I totally fit, but I could blend in and add value to all those different groups. I love cheering women on. I've always loved underdog stories. Makes my husband play football, University of Michigan. When I talk about Rudy at Notre Dame, he gets crazy. He's like, he didn't even play. I'm like, I love an underdog story. I love a dream come true. I love the American dream possibilities that we still have possible. I loved hearing women who combined their faith with their work and it wasn't separated. They weren't like one person on Sunday morning, Sunday night, and Wednesday night, and then Monday morning on business. They were different. I loved that you could intertwine it all with family and business and church. There wasn't a separation between the secular and the sacred. And God made me to do workplace ministry. This is where I came to know Jesus. So, I mean, every single thing, I think if you take some time to reflect on that, instead of just making these knee-jerk, get your, January 1st goals, I'm hoping this is a catalyst for you to really think like, all right, Mary Kay's in my life. What I'm going to go through now with you is, how we make money. You saw skincare class training in the morning session. That's already up on my YouTube channel. Now I'm going to talk about potential income from building a solid skincare class based business that produces skincare customers that you have relationships with. And interesting story, we were talking about building relationships and, on their skincare profile card, writing down that their son just broke his arm and just had surgery yesterday. So the next time you talk to her, how is your son doing? They don't do that at Target. They don't do that at any of the cosmetic counters at the bougie shops. Like, building relationships. My husband was out in during the morning session with our dog Pork Chop, and he ran up to a bank like 45 minutes away, small town, a credit union, to grab some cash and do some banking. And the lady didn't see Pork Chop because the Escalade's blacked out on the side. And she gave Larry, did his business, and goes, "Oh, is Pork Chop with you?" And he was so excited because she writes that down. The bankers at the bank have it written down. the key things about their customers. And he came in, he was so excited that he goes, she asked about pork chop. You guys, people like to be acknowledged. They like to know that they're important. They like to know that they're of value and they're recognized. And, you know, the stats that we're seeing of how lonely and how depressed and the state of mental health in our country right now since the pandemic, we got a lot of work to do. We have a lot of work to do, and we get to do it through helping women learn how to take care of their skin. And then using your money wisely so that the money that you make from it is funding who knows what in the future. You know, I could go through my husband being able to retire from being a federal agent when he was in his early 30s, because the first 9 were great, but that 10th year, he's a merit-based person, and the people who work the hardest, which I love Mary Kay, it's based on merit. It's not your education. It's not the color of your skin. It's not your age. It is not the language that you speak or your country of origin. None of that matters in Mary Kay. It's a merit system. I love this. The federal government is not a merit system. And that was eating away at him. He grew up being an athlete. He was raised by coaches in athletics, and it was eating away at him. Fortunately, I had built my business the first 10 years at a very consistent, regular level, and had gotten us out of debt a couple times, because both of us have been able to spend more money than we make. But the solution has not been another job. The solution has always been ramp my Mary Kay business up, sell more product, contain your cost of doing business. And I've dug our family through the Mary Kay business out of hundreds of thousands of dollars of debt. I can guarantee you. Someday I'll add it all up, and that might be my final speech, because this business gives you that ability. So I'm passionate, as Mary Kay was, for you guys to connect this with your dreams, because they're connected to other women's, and connect it with your New Year's planning. And hopefully you get enough information in today's training, and all these recordings are going to be on my YouTube channel. So you're going to be able to re-listen to them and to share them, because this business is in your life purposefully, intentionally, for a reason. And some of it is about you, but a lot of it is about legacy. It's about who's next. The women who were older than me, that trained me since I've been 23, I'm now their age. They're turning 70 and 75 and 80, and they're still mentoring me, because I get to see what it looks like after 65, using my gifts and talents and handling a different season of life with grandkids on one side and aging parents on the other with responsibilities. So let's do a little shift. I know Cheryl, she booked 2 parties, already had 3. So she has 5 on her date book by the 15th. And I encouraged her to get to 8 by the time her head hit the pillow. I'm encouraging all of you to get 8 by the time your head hits the pillow tonight. We will get done before our 3 o'clock time frame. This was supposed to be 1 to 3. We'll get done early so that you have time to continue booking. I found that when I went to Mary Kay workshops, I was more courageous and brave and bold while I was there, and right after I left, before I re-entered life. Once I got into my house, especially when I had young kids or teenagers, then everything kind of came to a halt in the Mary Kay bubble, and I hopped into life, and then my head hit the pillow, and then it was Sunday, and I wake up Monday morning, and I kind of feel like I have more knowledge and more inspiration, but not more results, and that equals more frustration. None of us need that. So by the time your head hits your pillow tonight, 8 bookings, you have the script, you make a list of names, you have your date book highlighted. You guys, you don't need to know anymore to book your 8 parties to hold 5. And you book 8 parties to hold 5, that's a perfect start. That's 25 to 30 faces. A power start then is doing it again. So the goal then, from the 16th to the end of the month of January, could be to do a perfect start again, book 8 more to hold 5 more. You have then you have 60 faces. You have 50 to 60 faces. Remember I said that we were going to clear up some, fake news, some urban legends in Mary Kay. that a power start is 30 faces is fake news. It's bad math. You guys, I'm a numbers girl. It's bad math. But where this stemmed from, because something always stems from somewhere, right? It's like, have you heard the story of the, granddaughter that asked her mom, I'm getting ready for Easter dinner. I'm cutting the end off the ham, but remind me, why am I cutting this off? And she goes, I don't know, honey, ask your grandma. I just cut it off because my mom told me. She calls her grandma, getting ready for Easter dinner, cooking this ham, cutting the end off. I just ask mom, she has no idea why we cut the end off. And the grandma goes, honey, I don't know why you do it or your mom. I did it because the ham didn't fit in my oven. Okay, there's stuff that we do in our life just because we do it and we don't know why. So depending on when you started your Mary Kay business, when Mary Kay started this 60 years ago, you can read in the book, Pass It On, that was already previously referenced by Jennifer Cook, Mary Kay's personal assistant for 25 years. She says in there that Mary Kay, she expected everyone to do 5 parties a week. And that would be 25 to 30 faces. And if they weren't doing 5 parties a week, she suggested that they find another job. And that was a perfect start in 1 week. And then they do 5 more the next week. By the time I came into Mary Kay in 86, so we started in 63, by 86, my training packet was you booked a perfect start in 1 or 2 weeks, and then you wrapped up the power start in the next 2 weeks. Can you see how it's already gotten elongated? And then, over time, things get more expensive. The company's committed to keeping our starter kit right around the $100 mark because Mary Kay wanted every woman who wanted this opportunity or needed it to be able to get it. And someone can always find $125, $150. And when someone tells me they can't, that's why I don't have any access to people's Facebook, because it makes me crazy when people will say, oh no, I can't get my business started. I don't have any money. And they're going to a concert tonight that I know the ticket is well over $250. And they have a designer bag on their shoulder. That stuff makes me crazy. That's why God just said, nope, you're not going to be able to do this. I know your bandwidth, and that's beyond it. But the company wanted to keep a starter kit for $100. So that meant that we had to take out trays because they're expensive. You get the extra 2 trays to make it 6 when you put in your qualified order. It's now part of the new consultant bonus. But as soon as the kit had 4 mirrors and trays in it, people started to call a party 3 or 4 people. A party went back and I started was 5 or 6. So 5 or 6 people at a party times 5 parties is 25 to 30 people. If it's 3 to 4, you can see how the math rolled out to be a power start is 30 faces and in a month. And I will tell you, as a director and as a national, I see people struggle to maintain cars, to earn cars, to maintain directorship, earn directorship, if they are going by that math. But if people are putting the products on 25 faces a week, 5 parties a week, if this is your job, if you're going to do 20 to 25 hours a week in your Mary Kay business in the sales department, I'm going to roll these numbers out for you. So 100 faces a month, you're making really good money. It's easy to find 10 recruits in a month. You could right now, setting yourself up to be in DIQ on target car February 1st. Actually, there's some of you that you haven't talked to everyone about the opportunity. You could have team members that start with you tonight and the agreements can go in tomorrow. I bet we'll have people that could even have been face models with us early this morning that they'll decide, I'm going to get my 8 people and go on target for my car right now. I'm going to get my 8 people and go into DIQ right now. We're doing this the 30th of December. And whenever people are listening to it, look at the next 48 hours, instead of planning and living your life way in advance, and then you never get caught up. So perfect start, power start. By tonight, I want you to send a picture of your date book, highlighted, that we talked about, with your booking times. Send that to your director. I'm sure if you book 8 parties, by the time your head hits a pillow tonight, your director is going to have a great gift for you. And then the pearls of sharing. I'm encouraging you all by the 15th of this month to earn your pearls of sharing. That's 15 interviews. That's picking out the 2 people from your parties. And if there's people that you haven't talked to already, they'd be great to talk to right now. Like you could take that $100 bill and say, what are the answers to this questions? Can I talk to you for 5 minutes about this? I'll give you a half off item or a half off shopping spree, whatever you choose to in the next 48 hours. Let's see how many team members you can get in. There's still plenty of time for you to go into January with new team members and obviously with the packed date book. So right now, what I hope you do with this information is leave here and get into activity. So by the time you wake up tomorrow morning, you're like, wow, that was a working workshop. Like I did work. I am in momentum. In addition to reevaluating, why you're doing your Mary Kay business and putting a number to it. In my new consultant training packet, which is on my website under new consultants, one of the sheets is called a dream sheet. It's something that NSD Karen Rydell has come up with. I have it for new consultants. Fill that out, send that to your director also. Because in Mary Kay, I have found that it is important that you have a dream that you're working for, as well as Mary Kay goals. A Mary Kay goal could be a trip, it could be a red jacket, it could be on target car, it could be Queen's Court of Sales, Princess Court of Sales, Queen's Court of Recruiting, the Bumblebee, etc. Mary Kay goals, but also a personal goal, because that is harder to bail out on, especially if it involves your family. When it involves, you heard Jeff talk about the top director's trips that he's been on and going to seminar, him talking about going to seminar. Mary Kay always said, take your spouse with you, leadership conference, seminar, a career conference. They get very supportive because men are more black and white. They're not based on, well, I'm scared. And, someone said no to me and it just crushed me for a year. Men aren't like that. They're like, you can make a lot of money doing this. Like, this is a seriously wise business plan. So that when he shared that, I'm like, that's perfect. Because that's one of the things I want to talk to you about. We're going to talk about some money potential here, but also some rules for the game. Because, wise financial management isn't just like putting money in savings. It's the systems that you're setting up to continually support you to continually do this, not to be a flash in the pan, not just to do it when it feels good or you just had a party. When he's talking about $100 a month is better than $1,200 a year. Doing one party a week is better than a 10-party week and nothing for 3 days. Once you get the plane up in the air, it's easier to keep it flying. Momentum and consistent momentum is priceless. And that's also where skill gets perfected and confidence is grown. Just from watching one person do a skincare class, you're never going to feel confident. You don't need to know more, you need to do more. I grew up in a time period where you got your consultant's guide. I'd watched 2 people do a party in person because there wasn't any opportunity to see it on anyone's YouTube station, no less than national sales directors. I only saw them on stage at seminar, the Ed Career Conference. That was it. So I did it all by doing it and evaluating it. Evaluate it, practice. You can listen to the boot camp CDs. Mary Kay said, listen to a CD every day. And I always knew when I traveled that when someone would pick me up at the airport, if they had cassette tapes all over the floor, this one got it. She can make this happen because she's playing by the rules of the game. You're challenging your thoughts and you're not just throwing a bunch of spaghetti on the wall. I want you to show your director your date book, and then you set up accountability with her. What does it look like after every party you do? How many skincare sets did you sell? How many interviews did you set up? How many referrals did you get? You think that it's just the retail sales that makes a difference, but selling $1,000 of just, color versus 4 repair sets is a vastly different reorder business in the future. Totally different. Each of them, you make $500 at that appointment, but in the future, 4 time-wise repair customers that are washing it down the drain every night and reordering $1,000+ a year, vastly different $1,000, profit. It's not That's the thing, an entrepreneur, very different. When you make $1,000 at your job, it's $1,000, $1,000, $1,000. They're never paying you again for it. Maybe you'll get your retirement if that school system stays in business. You know, when I became a national, one of the new nationals only came into Mary Kay to become a national sales director because her and her husband were both educators, and they were in the Ohio district that Enron, they'd invested all of the teachers' investment for retirement into Enron stock. And that was, what was that, 80s, 90s, when that just blew up. That was a disaster, an illegal disaster, but they had no retirement. So we've seen after the pandemic, there's no safety in healthcare, in education, working for someone else. Big three where I live is considered safe. Ooh, what's going on right now? What has gone on in my lifetime in the auto industry, even as a federal agent. You know, my husband was with Border Patrol, switched to immigration, and then after 9/11, that all changed. His ladder was moving up a building that no longer existed. And so what I do know is as long as baby girls are continue to be born, I feel confident with that, and that they have skin, and that, you know, we continue to prioritize God, family, career, doing our business with the golden rule, and believe that every single human being has a seed of greatness in them. And it's worth encouraging out that God will continue to protect and provide for us, that, you know, next to, I don't know, my salvation, there's nothing else I feel as confident about, is that this company will continue on, but it is dependent on us. Mary Kay Inc. doesn't recruit. We have to be sharing this product, and we have to be sharing the opportunity and with it, not just selling and team building at the same time. So as you're booking your 8 to whole 5, something I want you to do is, and you guys, I'm saying evaluate. If you are going into DIQ to come to Fort Worth with us, you don't need to evaluate your inventory today. You can do that on Monday. You need to get your 8 active people to get to Fort Worth. If you're qualifying for a car right now, if you are, you know, if you have finish lines at end the 30th, take the admin stuff and you do it on Monday. You don't do it right now. Others of you that don't have a finish line to run through, I do want you to practice running through a finish line. So I want these bookings to be done, and maybe a sales goal. How much are you going to sell in the next 2 days? And then a team building goal. How many people are you going to talk to about the opportunity? How far into your pearls? And how I do pearls, because it's not a steadfast rule. When you interview 5 people, you get the pearls of sharing earrings, 5 more the bracelet, 5 more the necklace, because 1 out of 5 is a Mary Kay math number to recruit. If they're interviewed, and if they had tried the product, and if you've met them in person. If any of those 3 things haven't happened, the numbers go up, and maybe 1 in 10, and maybe 1 in 15, 1 in 20, 1 in 25. So when you add the virtual piece on and they haven't been in front of the product, you have to talk to more. But there's, you know, women out there that they're already evaluating their New Year's goals. You could catch them this weekend before Sunday night and say, I have a goal to add 5 people to my team by tomorrow night. Will you just, you know, if you had only 5 minutes to ask me questions about how this works, what would you need to know to be able to make a $125 decision? That's a pretty easy. And then you just answer their questions. You don't have to tell them everything about yourself. You don't have to tell them everything about the company. You only need to answer their questions to make a $125 decision. And then you're going to say, okay, and then these are your next steps. And I'm going to talk about your next steps, because that is your inventory. And what I had found during the pandemic, Mary Kay started this company so that we could be business owners. You heard Sonia talk about that. She's a business owner, not an order taker. And I've seen people who started during the pandemic, or people that did a lot of business during the pandemic. They used a lot of CDS, and some of them, their inventories are a mess. Like, they could not put 10 roll-up bags together if their life depended on it. And that's, if you're booking 8 to whole 5, if you're going to do a power start in person in January, you got to rectify that actually today or tomorrow, because orders placed on Monday are not going to help you towards your first 15 days. And so in the boards, there's an inventory chart and it includes bonuses that new consultants are getting. So that may not apply to you if you're not new and you're not in your great start time period. But the principles of the inventory and the amounts of inventory still hold true. So those of you who have been around for as long as I have, when I started, an 1800 was a star order, a 3600 wholesale level of inventory was considered profit taking, right? Because you're profit making when you sell anything, but profit taking. Prior to 3600, we were encouraged to reinvest our profits back into our business so that we could have roll-up bags for everyone. If we were doing a power start in a month of 10 parties, we could have enough, roll-up bags to sell to a third of the people. That's the goal, a third buying skincare. If a third of the people aren't buying skincare virtually or in person, then you're working below Mary Kay averages. And we want to look at either target market or just skill of selling skincare. And that is one of the audio trainings totally on increasing skincare sales that's on my YouTube channel. So 3,600 though, you guys, 37 years ago is what double that, what a 7,200 wholesale order is now. Because when I started, the most expensive skincare set was under 40 bucks. And so the most expensive set, when you combined yellow, concealer, and a cheek rouge and a palette with eyes and lips, was still under $100. We now have skincare sets with repair that are well over 200. We have supplements that are over 75. So it's not the same. You're not comparing apples to oranges. So I don't start a new consultant with 7,200. I would do 4,800 or more, depending on her confidence and her desire, and her ability to get her hands on finances. Let's be clear. I want to see someone look. I want to see someone be resourceful, because I saw my brother start restaurants in Metro Detroit, and he went to family to get the money, because a bank doesn't support you unless you have a track record, and getting started, you don't have a track record. I don't think Mary Kay she was using her own savings. She didn't go to a bank. Actually, when Mary Kay started, a husband, a male, your husband or your brother, a male had to sign for you. A woman couldn't take the loan out herself. Think of that. That's a lot of change in 60 years. But I want to see people get resourceful. I've seen people do all sorts of resourceful stuff to finance the inventory of their business. And teaching someone how to look at this as a business owner versus an order taker is critical. If you look at yourself as an order taker, it's absolutely fine if you want to do that, but do know that you're not making much money, because every order you pay shipping on. And you could pay the same shipping for $5,000 of the product as you do for $5,000. And as a national, I can see every single order that goes in my national area. And I see people with the line this deep of orders, and all those CDS charges, you know how much profit they made? Less than 10%, maybe not even that. It may have cost them to run their business. UPS and the US Mail is making money. Mary Kay Inc., they're getting the cost covered. You're not making money if you are not running your business as a business owner. You can use Pirate Ship. You can use other shipping ways that is less expensive than traditional post office or UPS. And sometimes CDS works because it's the timing of it. I've been on vacations. I remember sitting in Aruba and putting through an order on CDS. I knew I had the products in Michigan, but I wasn't in Michigan. I was in Aruba. I was on the beach on a family vacation, and those orders went out. So that was well worth paying that on the shipping for it. It's very strategic and purposeful, but it's not, if you use it as a crutch, you're just shuffling money back and forth. You're not keeping any, and Mary Kay Ash wouldn't be happy about that, as you just heard me talk about on our little financial segment with Jeff. So where are you at with your inventory? Do you have a bunch of limited edition stuff? Do you have stuff you need to liquidate? I was in retail management right out of college, and right now, this is not a fun time. You are exhausted after the holiday season, and they're counting every single thing. They're all doing sales now. Are you getting deluged with sales to liquidate inventory for all these stores? They don't want to count it. They want to get it off their shelves. What do you need to get off your shelves? You can take pictures. You can do in your closed Facebook groups. You can sell, liquidate inventory that you don't need. You need your money in roll-up bags. Make sure that your money is in the things that you turn over and people reorder. So Miracle Set roll-up bags, the Time Wise Repair roll-up bags. Again, all of this is on my YouTube under Full Circle, my website under Everything Skincare class for more closing sheets. And you guys, a closing sheet is not a holy grail. You can have whatever you want. Just make it something that you understand, you like, so you can promote it. And you have the stuff on there that you're demonstrating, and it's also duplicatable. So a new consultant could use our flip chart and sell that stuff. Because if you have your own systems that are so detailed, you're not duplicatable, and that's gonna hurt you when someone says, oh, I wanna do this. Okay, yeah, but this comes in your kit, but then we did all of this instead. So think about that. You want this to be duplicatable. And then as your team grows, your unit grows, an area grows, then you start to customize. But first, we got to get company average results with sustainable and basic information. So look at your inventory situation and how many roll-up bags of those Miracle Sets could you fill up? If you're going to do 5 parties and have 25 to 30, you should be selling 10 roll-up bags. Do you have enough to do that the first half of January? If not, you probably need to get an order in. You need a liquidation sale and you need to get an order in. You may have money from the liquidation sale, or you may get a 0% credit card. You may need a whole new inventory because it's just a mess and you've never really run this as a business before. But when you order your inventory, it's from your Mary Kay sales, the first sale of the month. The profit on that makes your line of credit payment or the payment back to your savings account or to the person you borrowed from, however that works, just like if you had a business. People that run businesses, they don't open up a clothing store or a restaurant and wait till they take the money out of their grocery store account, extra money in their family budget. You guys, that's a hobby. That is not a business. And if you want to be paid, like hobbies cost you money, let's be clear. Hobbies are really expensive. If you want a hobby that costs you money and that's how you want to work your Mary Kay business, that's fine. I'm talking about you want a business and you want to see the finances of it. And if your family isn't, what I have found, if spouses aren't supportive of their wife's business, it's probably because they haven't seen the money. And I love when NSD Kristen Sharp, she says, all my husband sees are the deposits. He only sees my recruiting checks and my director checks. All my other expenses are paid by the sales of the product. He sees no money going out, no expenses at all. All of that, paying down the inventory, all the expenses of her business are from the sales of the product. And then her recruiting check and her director's check are the only thing her husband sees. That you get support. Free cars and cash in an account. I mean, they're like Jeff. He's like, I'll do whatever I can for you ladies because I so believe in this opportunity and what it's brought into my life and my family's life. So that's something I want you to evaluate. Where are you at with your inventory situation? Did you start with a 600 and you still just have that? Like 600 is personal use, let's be clear. And it's not even personal use. I can't put this on in 600 wholesale and body care. I can't. So, I mean, with the cost of products. So if you're a personal use consultant, maybe start using all the product line. Maybe that's what you order today and tomorrow. What don't you use of our product line? And get that at half off. And then it's going to be amazing because when you use stuff, you sell stuff because you're excited about it. That's why Mary Kay picked cosmetics, because she knew if women liked it, they were going to share it. So evaluate your inventory situation. We did talk about selling and recruiting together. So something that you guys have on the boards, this is also on my website under Dawn's frequently used handouts. There's a team 100, a team 50, and a team 30. So right now it's book 8 to hold 5. And again, book 8 to hold 5. But while you're doing that, start to count the faces and you just pull out the team 100 tracking sheet, because if you do less, you have enough room for it. But if you do more and you're using a team 30, then it gets messy. Because I want you to see in a month between now and the end of January, how many faces do you put the product on? There's a handout in the boards, also called Team Profit, that I have written up. Because the team concept was a strategic idea that God gave me probably 6 months into the pandemic. And our area was selling a lot of product. I mean, we excelled in figuring out how to do Mary Kay the Mary Kay way with a computer screen in between us and our customers. But what I found is that people were selling a lot of stuff. It wasn't skincare sets. And I do know that skincare sets, that is the level of sustainability for a consultant. If a consultant has skincare customers, just when they get frustrated and they want to quit, someone calls and says, oh my gosh, I need my repair set. I need my miracle set. Well, I heard about this new miracle set. I want to hear more about that. Skincare customers wash the products down the drain. Eyeliner, lip gloss, seasonal items, those people may use different lines, try different products. But the people who use our skincare, like Sonia said, they'll find another consultant. And do know the golden rule applies. We refer people back to their consultants, right? But if their consultant doesn't have product, the golden rule applies to our customers too. And as a customer, I want a consultant that has product. I don't want to wait till she puts her next order in. I don't want to wait until I'm supplying her 50% discount. That honestly is pretty selfish of her. I want a consultant who has the products. I want a consultant that's listening to training and applying it. I want a consultant that goes to the events, whether she wants to be a director or not, because I want the best trained consultant. Why wouldn't you? Why would you want the person that hasn't showed you any new products in a year and it doesn't, is not into customer service? I have nothing against people getting a discount because I love getting a discount on anything. I am a bargain shopper, but if you're a personal use consultant, don't share your discount. Don't tell people you do Mary Kay because you don't. It's like a Costco membership. You don't say, oh, I'm putting a Costco order in. Everyone, come, let me know what you want. I'm going to go shop for all of us. Like, you don't do that. It's kind of like an integrity issue, honestly. So if you're personal use and that's it, stay plugged in. We love you. You never know when things are going to change or your mind's going to change, but don't share the discount with other people and don't advertise that you're a consultant because that hurts people that Mary Kay started this business for women who are supporting their families doing this business. And that makes us very different from every other direct selling company out there again that I've ever looked at their marketing plan and I see how they market and I see their sustainability or lack thereof. So with the teams, I'm just like, okay, like, what does this look like on teams? If you have 100 target market faces and on the bottom of the team profit handout, it defines target market. So you'll know that. So you could get to a party and no one's target market. Don't count them as one of your faces for your 150 or 30. When my daughter was starting her business and she was a 19-year-old sophomore at college, I told her, you can't really count these as faces unless maybe a mom or grandma or aunts are there. You're going to have to get outside of the college girl market because to earn a car, you will probably have to have 45 college students versus, 20 or 12 or 13, whatever it was back then to earn a car. And so, all things like I'm in Michigan, we have snowmobiles sitting in our backyard right now. Those of you dialing in from Alabama are like, what's this snowmobile? That sounds interesting. All consumer products are marketed to different targets, same with our product and same with our opportunity. When you market into Mary Kay's target market, you sell skincare to a third of the people at your parties. If you're teaching skincare, like you were just taught to, and closing, individual closing, doing all the things we talked about. And then from those, you pick out the people to interview and you interview 5 over a matter of a couple parties, and you will have 1 out of 5 sign up. And sometimes all 5 sign up. And then sometimes 10 are interviewed and no one signs up. And then the next 10 sign up. Averages don't always work in nice little packages, but 1 out of 5 will work. Team 100 is 100 target market faces. You could pick 3 months to do that. You could pick 2 months to do that. You could do that in a month. Again, people who are doing this as their job do 5 parties a week. They do 25 faces, 25 to 30 faces a week. That's 100 in a month. 10 recruits, right? 1/10 recruit, and 33 skincare sets. Team 50 is 50 faces, 5 recruits, and I always get mixed up on my math on the 50. It is 16 skincare sets. And team 30, You have 10 skincare sets sold and 3 recruits. So I put together tracking sheets for that, because then you're making sure that you're selling and recruiting together. You're not just selling and then you sold a bunch of stuff, but it wasn't skincare, because you're tracking skincare sets. And then you don't leave the party and go, oh my gosh, you didn't set up any interviews. Now I have to set those up. Nope, we're doing it all together. We're doing the 4-point recruiting plan like we were taught to do. We're selling and recruiting together. So when you're doing that, this gives you a railroad track to know that you are practicing towards perfection. Because otherwise, if you're just continuing to do stuff and it's not getting you towards perfecting the skills, it's just making things permanent. And to make things permanent that aren't serving you well, it's harder to unlearn them than to relearn them. And some of you may be there right now. Right now, we need to have like a clean sweep. Have you ever had to just like sweep your whole computer out or sweep your whole phone out? Like it just needs a total shutdown. That may be what some of you need right now, is a total shutdown. Instead of continuing to drag things from your Mary Kay past that aren't serving you well, go back to being brand new again. Watch my welcome video, watch my business strategy video, all in the new consultant section of my website. Print out a training packet. Whether you're a director or a trip director, you can always start over again. You guys, I've started over again so many times in my business. I mean, I always stayed a director, but I put myself back through DIQ lots and lots of time. Even as a national, I put myself back through DIQ. I can't even count how many times. But that's what you do when you know where you're going to, what your goals are, what is dependent on your choices right now in the future towards legacy in your family and what God's called you to, and hearing good and faithful servant. I'll throw the net back out as many times as he asked me to. And that's very biblical. Those verses, when those fishermen hadn't caught anything all night long, and that's when you fish, is when it's dark and night, early morning, and Jesus says in broad daylight, throw the net over. And they're like, what? I love that. And The Chosen, how they depict that. It's so great. What? And they're finally like, fine, we'll throw it over. And there's so many fish that the nets can't even hold them. Are you willing to do it again and do it better? Just because that's what we do. These are the stories I heard from the people who brought me up in Mary Kay, and I wanted what they had. So I was willing to go back through DIQ again as a director, as a national. I was willing to go back and book a perfect start and a power start and re-listen to the training CDs, the boot camp, and be accountable to my senior and play by the rules of the game, plugging into the events. When Jeff said he went to the event, we have an event coming up, leadership, in Fort Worth, Texas. It's normally just directors and nationals. You are going to see, 4 of my dear, dear friends. Pam Tull, who was the queen at my seminar forever as $1 million director until I was number 1. And she was so gracious. I remember her calling me, and Jake had just had open surgery and she had just become a national. She said, open up your computer. I think you're number 1. I went, no, I checked out that month. I was checked out. My son had open heart surgery. She knew the story. She had been praying for him. I go, no, whatever happened, but I'm good with it. My son is doing great. And that I was not in the game at all in June. And we opened the computer up and we were number 1. To have your mentors teach you things like that don't happen in the real world. Someone doesn't want you to take their place. They're not going to call them, say, I think that you just have my job. I think you have my recognition and I'm excited for you about it. Open up your computer. Let's find out. That doesn't happen in real world. Pam Tull's retiring, Jan Thetford, Gina Gass, who were with 9/11 over in Europe when the Twin Towers were crashed and we were on the extended Mary Kay trip. I mean, these are people I've done life with. You guys, you're in Mary Kay at a special time. At leaderships and seminars, you're going to hear these people train that were trained by Mary Kay, legacy leaders. You are in this gap right now where these batons are being passed. And if you were wired to be a leader, I need you to step up to the plate. Earn a car if you don't want to be a sales director. I will tell you, as far as financial management goes, leasing a car is one of the stupidest things that people do. It is a total waste of money. You might as well take the money and throw it out your window. Cars are a devaluing asset. Mary Kay gives us a free car because no car payment or insurance payment for the last 35 years of my business, put my kids through college debt free, allowed my husband to retire, allowed my son to go to music school, which is his dream in LA for a year that cost more money than a year at school should cost, a dream wedding for my daughter, and choices for lots of other things that God's called me to do. You guys, you're here for a reason. Grab these batons. If you're a leader and you want to come to an internship in Mary Kay, get 8 women active on your team by tomorrow night and come with us as a DIQ. Look at it as an internship. You guys, a plane ticket, registration on site, your food, it's going to be under $1,500. And you're going to have an internship. When my son did internships, I paid for his credit hours, probably $10,000 for him to go do internships that were required for his graduation for his marketing degree. You're going to have fun. It is the best women's faith-filled conference of encouragement, a master's program. And you're going to know by the time you get home, do I want to earn a car and be a manager at that mid-management level? Do I want to be a sales director and start to make income on training a team of people versus just on the profit of my own personal people and my sales? Do I want to be a national sales director? Where do I want to offspring directors and have a national area? You don't have to be a national if you've aged out or you don't desire this position. Have 20 directors. Lisa Matson just challenged people at the $1 Million Retreat. I've never seen anyone get their 20 directors and then choose not to be a national, but you absolutely can. So give it a shot. Who's going to be first? But there's leadership conference in January. This is a Get Your Year in Gear. So that's a consultant January plug-in. And then in March, there's career conference. Mary Kay is doing career conferences in 6 cities. You can look on Mary Kay in Touch for career conference city locations. I am hosting one in Metro Detroit. That flyer is also on the boards. Registration is open. Would love to have you join me. Myself, 2 other national sales directors. Some of the directors that you've heard today are going to be sharing and teaching. And it's going to have all the recognition and all the training that a career conference does. But in the Metro Detroit area, we had no career conferences for 10 hours each way. And so that is just something that God said you're doing. And so I would love to have you there. If you're planning on attending, you need to look at the registration. There's a website with it that's on the flyer because some of the things you start to qualify for in December. So you're going to want to look at that because you follow the food in Mary Kay. It is a rule for success, and why not get recognition? Usually those things push you farther than you may go on your own. So the teams, let's look at the team profits. If you did 100 Mary Kay faces, and let's just, I'm going to do a month, but on the team profit handout, you're going to be able to see for team 50, team 30. But what I did on this sheet that I made up is 100 Mary Kay faces times $50. So $50 a face is a very fair average. Actually, it's low, but it takes into consideration that you may sell a time-wise repair to some people. You may sell nothing to some people. 50 is very conservative. I was always taught under promise, over deliver. And so if you do 100 faces in Mary Kay's target market, you're going to average at least $50 a face. That's $5,000 in retail sales in a month. And I'm doing a 60-40 split. So 60% you're leaving in your Mary Kay account to cover your Section 2 and your sales tax, et cetera, 40% pure profit. And then, so that's $2,000 a month profit. I mean, for a 20 to 25 hour a week job, actually that's a part-time job these days. And you don't get to clear $2,000. You're not clearing $500 a week, I guarantee you. They take out their FICA, MICA, LICA, you are taking home half of that, I bet. But if you times it by 12 months at $2,000, you have $24,000 profit. I mean, let's start talking about financing those dreams. If you do that every month, 24,000 times 12, guys, wow, that's a lot of money. That's just selling the product. We're not even talking about team building yet. That's Queen's Quarter sales level. You get a big hunking ring at Mary Kay, seminar, you are backstage, walking across stage, royalty reception, it's a blast. So it's 25 faces a week minimum, about 5 parties a week, 20 to 25 hours a week. And again, you guys can absorb this. This is all in writing and all in print on the board, handouts, and on my website. You're selling about 33 skincare sets. So if you have 33 skincare sets sold a month, at the end of a year, you have 396 skincare customers, not mascara and eyeliner and lipstick customers, skincare customers. 396 skincare customers if they were only ordering 200 a year. And you know, a Time-Wise Repair Numerical set, they're ordering probably 500 to 1,000 a year. 396 customers ordering $200 a year. You guys, that's $79,000 of retail product. You make half of that. I mean, profit, $31,680. I mean, that one, I don't know if I did 60-40 on that or 50-50, but either way, over $30,000 profit on reorders. And then if you add on still doing your 100 faces a month, add on the 24,000, you guys, we're talking 50, 60,000. I know a lot of people who work for 60, 70, 80, $90,000 a year. They work 40 to 80 hours a week. They could be fired at any time. They have no residual income coming out of it. This is for just selling skincare, just doing skincare parties, okay? This should unembarrass you about talking to your chicken list, because I guarantee you your chicken list, most of them make a lot less than that and they work a lot more than that. Team 50, just to give you the bottom line, you have, if you're doing 10 to 13 hours a week, probably 3 parties a week, about 12,000 profit in sales in the year and about 15,000 in reorders. 30, if you want to do 30 faces in, say you're doing it in a month, you're probably working 7 to 9 hours a week, 8 parties a month, about 9,600 in profit of reorders, 7,200 yearly profit from new sales. You guys, this is a lot of money. $7,200 for 30 faces a week. 7,200 yearly profit. In a year, what could you do with $7,200? Most people's jobs don't give them a $7,200 raise. The majority of them do not. Even if you get your master's as a teacher, they're not giving you $7,200 more dollars. And it costs you $30,000 to $50,000 to get that master's. 9,600 profit on reorders. Hopefully these numbers are getting you to think, what could I do with this profit? And you guys, we haven't really touched on recruiting. And I honestly, I want you to, right now, you can recruit some people to bring in to go on this journey with you. I want you to go through this weekend and recruit the people that you already know and they know you. They've had a facial or they just know you. Even if they haven't had a facial, you know them enough. You want to talk to them about the opportunity. You'd like to have them on your team. But then starting Monday, you're going to get your recruits through Book, Coach, Sell, Recruit. Book, Coach, Sell, Recruit. That's the easy way. But everyone has to learn how to push through finish line. So if your finish line is your red jacket, if your finish line is on target car, DIQ, finishing a unit, etc., then that is added in. That prioritizes how you use your time from when we leave this time together and you head into the rest of the last little bit of your 2023. Recruiting profits though, you guys, I mean, I've was recognized for over 4 million a year ago, and that's just team building. That's not the cars. That's not the cost of the cars, the insurance on the cars, putting new driving kids on cars. That's not the trips. That's not the sale of products. That's just the team building profits over the last 37 years. You guys, that's a lot of money. And then you have your family security program, who Carla's done a great job educating me on that, because we did a really good job getting ourselves debt free, but in paying for our kids' college, paying for everything in cash and having no debt, didn't do quite as good of a job with the savings plans. But what she helped me realize about 5 years ago, and this was 5 years ago, so incomes increased. She said 5 years ago, an employer would have to have a $2 million retirement plan for you, or you would have to have $2 million saved right now for what Mary Kay is going to give you over the 15 years from the family security program, as well as a Cadillac and 3 more trips. Wow. That's why we need to find some more women that want to be national sales directors, because there's people that have no idea that income potential, even the money selling the product, No one else makes 50%. They have no idea what the income potential is with Mary Kay. And that would make Mary Kay Ash very sad, because she said everyone within 3 feet of us should know what we do and how it works. Our job is to ask. It's not to decide. It's not to decide she doesn't need the money. She wouldn't do this. I've asked her before. La, la, la. You're deciding. That is pushy. I don't like people making decisions for me. I bet you don't either. I like people giving me the options, just laying them out on the table and then letting me decide what to do. And that's what this training is. It's laying it all out on the table, resourcing you with what you need. And then I look forward to seeing the decisions that you make. I look forward to seeing who's going to join me in Fort Worth in January, who's going to join me in March, who's going to join me at seminar, and what are you going to be celebrating prayerfully from the shifts that happen and maybe scales that fall off the eyes of why this business is in your life and what you can use for the season, a reason, or the long haul. A season, a reason, or the long haul. So you guys, the March 2nd event, that's on the boards, all that information. We talked about evaluating your inventory. Are you selling and liquidating, restocking? Does that need to be done today or tomorrow? And do know, you guys, you're on someone's team. You're in an area, you're in a unit, you're on a team. So what you do makes a difference. And if you're like, yeah, I do need to evaluate my inventory, I could do it Monday or I could do it now, ask your recruiter. It may be really important for you to do it now. That may be the difference of a car being earned or not earned. That may be the difference between a unit being finished or a DIQ getting to go. Like it's a big deal. I love that we're in a team sport. I always did more to help Debbie Moore with her goals, and our area goals helped her to be an inner circle national sales director. I'm proud of that. And I bet you are too. You want to be part of a winning team. And so, you know, what I have always learned, I look for leaders who have been team playing players. They always make the best leaders. So that is a question you may want to ask. Would it help you if I do this Saturday, today, or tomorrow versus waiting? And if it is, great. Then you have your stuff sooner and you've helped yourself and you've helped that person. You've helped a woman with her dream. I love helping women achieve their dreams. You're going to book your 8 to hole 5. You're going to send that date book that's highlighted with those appointment times to your director by the time your head hits a pillow. And I'm sure she's probably going to gift you. And make sure I didn't forget anything else. I think you probably have more information than your head can hold right now. I hope this time that we spent together was a catalyst to make 2024 explosive, intentional, joy-filled, generous. I pray that this is a catalyst to move you to your next best step. Thank you for joining me. These recordings again will be available in the next couple hours. And I'm just praying that you will take risk, that you will be the risk taker because you desire to hear good and faithful servant. And maybe even just out of curiosity, just as a challenge, what can I do in 2024? What am I capable of? What dreams are kind of standing out there that maybe I can do something about? Maybe I can chip away at, or maybe I can even achieve. Please keep me posted. I love nothing more than seeing dreams achieved because I know your dreams are attached to many others. Okay, you guys, happy end of 2023 and happy new year to 2024.